Alright, you lot. Gather round, cause Ubisoft's at it again, flogging the same dead horse. But this time they've duct taped a fancy new genre onto it and called it innovation. Far Cry multiplayer? Rebooted. Again. Like trying to polish a turd that's already been flushed. And if you thought XDefiant were a mess, strap in, cause this one's a proper kick-it bollocks. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and all that bollocks. It helps channel grow, feeds algorithm, and keeps me from losing my last fucking marble. And hey, if you really want to support proper unfiltered gaming rants, consider joining channel membership. Right, rant mode engaged, let's get into it. Right then, let's get into this steaming pile. Far Cry multiplayer. Once upon a time, this series actually had some decent multiplayer. Not groundbreaking, but fun. Back in days when games were allowed to be just games, instead of bastardized live service cash machines. Then Ubisoft did what Ubisoft does best. They binned it. And then they brought it back. And binned it again. And now, they've wheeled its corpse out for another reboot. Because apparently Ubisoft's entire business model these days is playing bloody peekaboo with their own franchises. It's like watching a drunk bloke try to assemble IKEA furniture. They keep taking it apart, putting it back together wrong, and every time they lose another screw. Except in this case, screws are actual fans who still gear shit. What's left now? Half-assembled product nobody asked for, covered in corporate fingerprints and smelling faintly of panic. But wait, there's more. Because they're not just rebooting Far Cry multiplayer. No, that'd be too easy. They've decided to chase the latest gaming trend like a midlife crisis dad buying a skateboard. So what's flavour at month? Extraction shoots. That's right, Ubisoft took one look at Tarkov, DMZ and now Delta Force and thought, yeah, let's have a go at that. Even though they've got creative vision or a damp tea towel and attention span or a toddler off fit tits on Smarties. Far Cry used to stand out because it were chaotic, unpredictable, wild fun. Nah, it's about to be another soulless, trend-chasing, copy-paste live service grindfest. And why? Because Ubisoft has no original ideas left. They'd rather follow trends than actually lead industry like they used to back when Far Cry 3 dropped and made everyone's jaw hit floor. Remember that? Yeah, neither do they. So here's my question to you lot. How many more reboots does Ubisoft get before we all collectively agree they're out of ideas and officially running on fumes? Because if Far Cry multiplayer ends up like XDefiant, and spoiler alert, it fucking will, then this franchise is truly utterly done. See, this ain't just about Far Cry multiplayer. This is Ubisoft's entire business strategy laid bare. Every single time they're backed into a corner, they hit reboot button like a panicked lab rat, desperately hoping nobody notices they're just serving up the same shite on a different plate. This ain't innovation. This ain't a bold new direction. This is corporate arse covering at its finest. And it happens every single time. Look at pattern. Ghost Recon Breakpoint bombs. Quick, announce a new Ghost Recon. Division 8 fades. Quick, announce a mobile version. Skull and Bones takes 2 decades to develop. Just pretend it's still a thing. And now Far Cry's latest victim. We've been here before. We know how this ends. Now let's talk specific red flags. Because Ubisoft not just rebooting Far Cry multiplayer for fun. They're doing it because the last attempt flopped so hard they had to delete it from existence. Yeah, in case you didn't know, Ubisoft were already working on Far Cry multiplayer game called Project Maverick. Open world survival mechanics, big plans. And what happened to it? Binned. Quietly. Why? Because it was shite. And what did they do instead? Start again. But this time with live service bullshit stapled to it. Oh, that'll go well. Because if there's one thing Ubisoft is great at, it's nailing live service games. Wait, no, hang on. No, that's right. They've got a graveyard full of failed live service attempts, and this is about to be next tombstone. Here's what's going to happen. Ubisoft will overpromise hell out of this game, launch it in broken state, try to monetize everything. We're talking XP boosts, skins, battle passes, all corporate buffet. And then when players get fed up and leave, they'll pretend it never existed. You don't even have to be psychic to see it coming. It's the exact same bollocks we saw with XDefiant. Ubisoft's whole model is trend chasing, short-term cash grabs, and abandoning games second they stop printing money. And people still fall for it. Best part, gaming media will still call this bold and ambitious. Same websites that hyped up XDefiant like it were second coming of FPS Jesus will do it again. And 6 months later, they'll quietly admit it flopped and move on to the next Ubisoft disaster. So I'll ask again, how many times are we going to let Ubisoft reset clock, rebrand the failures and pretend it's all new? Because at some point, it's not just on them, it's on us for falling for it every time. This Far Cry multiplayer reboot isn't just a bad idea, it's the same idea Ubisoft already tried and failed with. Remember Rainbow Six Extraction? Nah? Don't worry, nobody else does either. That thing launched with fanfare of a farting hurricane. It were a shooter made using a franchise it don't belong to, glued together with corporate desperation and held up by the world's most aggressive marketing campaign. And still nobody gave a toss. And why? Because it had no soul. And guess what? Far Cry multiplayer is heading the same way. It's Ubisoft template. Grab a franchise, strip out everything that made it interesting, shove in live service bollocks, chase current trend, in this case, extraction shooters, and then nobody notices it's just Rainbow Six Extraction in a different skin. And worst part, they're going to market shit out of this just like they did with R6E. They'll play influencers to pretend it's next big thing. They'll run those embarrassing developer deep dives where some poor sod has to sit there lying through the teeth about how much passion went into it, even though we all know it were cobbled together in a boardroom by marketing execs with less creativity than a Rye Vita. And let me guess, launch day? Servers on fire, bugs galore, progression locked behind battle pass tiers, and half at player base gone with in 2 weeks. Same song, same dance, different corpses are dragged onto the stage. That's not me being cynical, that's me having a functioning memory. Ubisoft's track record speaks for itself. XDefiant were meant to be the comeback, the return to form, and it belly flopped harder than a drunk lad at a pool party. Now they're going to do exact same thing, except with Far Cry. Because if there's one thing Ubisoft loves more than fucking up new IPs, it's fucking up old ones. They already wrung Far Cry dry with mainline games, now they're checking multiplayer corps for one more coin drop. So here's my prediction. Clip this and play it back later if you want. Far Cry multiplayer will launch, have a brief spike cause people are curious, and then collapse faster than My Will to Live at a Ubisoft press conference. Bookmark it. You know I've put up with lots of Ubisoft bollocks of it years. Copy-paste sequels, live service bullshit, broken launchers, absolute state of modern Assassin's Creed. But this is my I'm done moment. Cause this Far Cry multiplayer reboot ain't just a bad game idea, it's proof Ubisoft don't respect players anymore. It's all soulless cycle at this point. Reboot, monetize, abandon, repeat. And I'm not signing up for another round. See, Far Cry used to mean something. It wasn't just another Ubisoft product, it were chaos. It were unpredictable. Map editor, ridiculous player-created content, over-the-top villains. There were personality in these games. But now, just another brand to be milked. And worst part, they'll still try to sell this as player first, like the gain as something we wanted, even though it's clear as day this were made for shareholders, not gamers. And if you dare criticise it, well, you're just a toxic gamer who hates innovation. Fuck off. You know what? I don't hate innovation, I hate bullshit. And that's all Ubisoft does now. Trend chasing, copy pasting, over promising, under delivering. Every single time. And this isn't even just a rant about Far Cry anymore. It's about entire industry and how publishers like Ubisoft treat the players like wallets with legs. And I'm not giving them my time or my money anymore. Simple as that. Because this isn't just about one bad game. This is about Ubisoft's entire business model, and I refuse to play along. But this ain't just my rant, I want to hear from you lot. Are you still holding out some delusional hope that Far Cry reboot might actually be decent? Or are you like me, and you've already seen writing on wall, written in Ubisoft's usual blend of corporate diarrhea and broken promises? Let me know in comments, because your text might just end up in a future video. And if you enjoyed this unfiltered dose of brutal honesty, then smash that like button, like Ubisoft smashes reset button every 2 years. Hit subscribe so you never miss out on a proper rant. Also jump on Discord for some proper gaming chat without woke bollocks. And follow me on X, where I offend at least one person every day before breakfast. And if you want to support the channel directly, join as a channel member. Every penny goes towards keeping these videos raw, real, and absolutely not advertiser friendly. Hot links are down below. And with that, I'll see you next time, you magnificent.